The modern landscape of third-person, story-driven games is defined by immersion, intention, and emotional follow-through. Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us Part 2, Uncharted, A Thief's End, Control, and Days Gone may differ in tone, setting, and mechanics, but they all ask the player to slow down and fully inhabit their worlds. These are not games built around endless progression loops or disposable action. Instead, they're crafted experiences where narrative, gameplay, and atmosphere are tightly interwoven, setting clear expectations for players seeking meaningful single-player journeys. Number 1. Ghost of Tsushima offers a contemplative open-world experience that prioritizes immersion over excess. Players should expect minimal user interface, natural navigation systems, and an emphasis on visual storytelling. Exploration is guided by the environment itself, wind, landmarks, and subtle cues, creating a sense of presence rarely seen in open-world games. Combat is precise and lethal, encouraging patience, timing, and mastery rather than button mashing. As Jin Sakai's methods evolve, players experience a growing tension between tradition and necessity, reflected directly in gameplay mechanics and narrative choices. The game invites players to slow down, absorb the world, and reflect on the cost of survival and change. Number 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is an uncompromising narrative experience that challenges the player as much emotionally as mechanically. Set years after the collapse of civilization, the game places players in environments that are quiet, overgrown, and deceptively peaceful spaces that can turn violent in seconds. Players should expect combat that is grounded, intimate, and intentionally uncomfortable, with limited resources forcing improvisation and restraint. Stealth is often preferable to confrontation, and every encounter feels heavy with consequence. The game does not frame violence as power fantasy. Instead, it uses it as a narrative tool to explore grief, obsession, and the erosion of empathy. Players should be prepared for a story that subverts expectations, demands patience, and refuses to offer easy moral clarity. Number 3. Uncharted. A Thief's End represents the pinnacle of cinematic adventure design, blending blockbuster pacing with a character-driven farewell. Players can expect seamless transitions between gameplay and cutscenes, with traversal, puzzles, and combat flowing naturally into the story rather than interrupting it. The game emphasizes exploration and vertical movement, encouraging players to climb, swing, and navigate environments that feel handcrafted and alive. While the tone is lighter and more humorous than the others, it carries emotional weight through its focus on relationships, aging, and the cost of obsession. What players ultimately experience is a balance between thrilling set pieces and quieter moments that give context and meaning to the spectacle. Number 4. Control stands apart through its surreal tone and emphasis on environmental storytelling. Players should expect confusion by design, an intentionally opaque narrative that reveals itself slowly through observation and curiosity rather than exposition. The Federal Bureau of Control is a shifting, oppressive space that constantly redefines itself, and exploration is as much about understanding the world as it is about mastering mechanics. Combat is fast and kinetic, combining traditional gunplay with telekinetic abilities that reward creativity and aggression. Players can expect to feel powerful, but never entirely in control, reinforcing the game's themes of authority, instability, and hidden systems governing reality itself. Number 5. Days Gone delivers a more grounded and systemic survival experience, focusing on endurance rather than heroism. Players should expect long stretches of solitude, punctuated by moments of extreme danger, where preparation matters more than reflexes. Resource management, crafting, and maintaining Deacon's motorcycle are central to progression, reinforcing the idea that survival is fragile and hard-earned. The game's defining feature, massive, roaming hordes, creates dynamic threats that force players to plan, adapt, and sometimes flee. Over time, the narrative reveals itself gradually, rewarding patience with a story about loss, loyalty, and the struggle to find purpose in a world that no longer offers certainty. Taken together, these 5 games define what players can expect from high-quality, third-person, story-driven experiences, deliberate pacing, emotionally grounded narratives, and gameplay systems designed to support theme rather than overwhelm it. They ask players to invest not just time, but attention, to read environments, understand characters, and accept that progress often comes with sacrifice. This is a form of gaming that values immersion and reflection as much as action, proving that interactive storytelling can be as nuanced and impactful as any other medium.